I'll count 30, my dear participants. Please pray. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, good to go. So when we look at the topic, role of ICT in learning for children with autism spectrum disorder, I have identified 3 keywords. First, ICT, then learning, then children with autism spectrum disorder. I have reversed the order. I'm going to talk about children with autism spectrum disorder, the nomenclature in the light of NEP 21st. Then I'm going to talk about learning in children with autism. And then finally I'm going to talk about, which I'm not supposed to talk about because I'm a technologically challenged person. I can't even book an Ola and Uber. And I got so scared when ma'am said at 1 o'clock, you please come, you can book an Ola and Uber. So I'm also talking about role of ICT. First, when we talk about children with autism spectrum disorder, a very common thing that you see on the internet, it's just copy paste. You see, and people have talked about it. So there is communication impairment, there is social impairment, there are disruptive behaviors, right? All of you have basic idea of communism, of autism. You will see that a person comes, a person has difficulty, as ma'am has specified, in talking. He may know 5 languages, but if you ask, what is your name? He will not be able to say. He may not know the appropriate interpersonal distance, where to stand, how to stand, what to do. And he may be doing all the time, right? That's what autism is to you. Fine, great, I support that. We have to be a little technical, so we go to DSM-5. DSM-5 is the one, a book that gives us the criteria for autism. So you have A, B, C, D, E, 5 criteria for autism. I'm not repeating these things, it's known to everyone. If you don't know, you can just go Google and you get it. So again, these social, emotional reciprocity. I am trying to express my love, but you cannot express it back. Second, I am looking at you like this, but you don't understand. I am angry. So there is non-verbal communication is completely absent. Third, I know that we are close, but I don't know how to form a relationships. So in this way, many differences are there, characteristics are there, and we all talked about it in your discussions. It came, there are stereotypical, repetitive behavior. There is adherence to routine, right? If you change even the chair, I don't know, there are organizations who are working with people with autism. So you change the structure and you just had it. One person is supposed to come, instead of that another person has come, all hell will break loose, right? So in this way, C, D, E, there is the E is basically an exclusionary character. But if you look at criteria C and criteria D, one thing I like. Since morning I was hearing, and it's not your fault, believe me, I was hearing people are suffering from autism. Autism is a problem, okay? It's a difficulty. We have to solve the problem. So I say thankfully DSM-5 had some sense. So the traits have been, the word symptom has been replaced by traits. There can be symptoms for fever. There can be symptoms for chicken pox. You have symptoms for autism. And that's the way the whole world looks at disability. But this is the way people look at it now. Please look at my screen. What are the children who have grown adults now? My first encounter with autism was in 2000. It's wow, and I'm celebrating the silver jubilee. So 25 years have gone by. So when I'm saying come, I want to give you normalcy training. Who wants to be normal? So this is my first, I want to say, push to your belief system. I would not like to use the word, and all these are taken from different research papers. When I share this PPT, you will see that. I would not like to use the word autism spectrum disorder. We would rather say autism spectrum condition. It's a condition. People are born with it, and that's why I was telling ma'am, it is not disability, it's neurodivergence, right? There's nothing called disability. 27 years into this field, 55 years old, I don't believe in special education. What I believe is discoverability. So autism has a language. Let's understand how that language unfolds. So please understand, just like all of us, children with autism, people with autism have strengths, they have challenges. Let's look at it like that. Just like each one of us are different, there are a variety of ways that children with autism will interact. Second. Third, we may be introverts in our own ways, right? So similarly, people with autism may have difficulty in communicating and forming relationships. So let us look at them as an identity, as a class of people who have certain characteristics, like maybe the Hispanic characteristic, Indian characteristics. And this, thankfully, we have something. People will not say that, please don't bring your mental children in my school. I face that. Since 2006, I am going into door to door, taking my children, asking them to be put into regular school. Miss Gargi, they're very nice, very sweet. Our empathies are with all of you, but they're a little difficult to handle. Yes, I think all of you have faced that, people who have worked, right? So now NEP 20 says equity and inclusion are guiding principles of all educational decisions. Talks about flexibility, conceptual understanding, formative assessment, all this, and talks about MAM's ICT tool, talks about technology. So let's see how children with autism are going to be brought in? Two separate systems? That's the first question I asked ma'am. Ma'am, where did you collect your data from? She said, mostly from special schools. Why? So many children don't go to school. That is number one. So many children, parents want to send to inclusive schools. They go to inclusive schools. After that, children hit, children spit, children kick. But if this child is kicking, spitting, biting, it's blown out of proportion. I'm not saying anything off the hat. This is my experience. And this is my experience that I have shared with many eminent colleagues all over India. So let's look at a system like this. See, in India, we are still looking at this as a system. Let's mend the child. Let's look at the problem and solve the problem. We are trying to fit the child into the system without looking into this. Let us change the system so that the child fits in. The whole world, when we talk about equity, we are shifting from medical model to the social model. In medical model, child is the problem. Let's fix the child. In social model, the society needs to be changed. I always say, if you all come to a community of wheelchair users and you have a seminar there, what will happen? Sir, ma'am, when you will try to enter, what will happen? Can you tell me? It's a community of wheelchair users and you are trying to enter their seminar hall. What will happen when you enter?
Everyone will look at you that you are not on wheelchair.
Yes, number one. Second, you will not be able to enter because you will bump your head. Your height is this, wheelchair height is this. So you are the person with disability. I am not. So it all depends on the condition that you present us with. So let's go ahead with the social model of disability, which is also leading to the right-based model of disability. And ma'am, this is what I have come, though it's my daughter's board exam today, because I had to establish this point in a group of eminent people who will bring about a policy change. Look at our children with a different light. You change your attitude, you change your environment, you change your organizations. So, please look into the curriculum adaptation like this, not the other way around. So, I'm not saying that special schools will not stay. They are very, very required. I am not saying suddenly all schools will become inclusive. Then what am I talking about? Let's come to something called learning. Before doing the learning, let's understand, as I said, we are not saying autism, right? We are saying autism spectrum condition. So there's a spectrum. That means there is a variety, okay? When I teach my students, I say, see, there you have an umbrella, chata. So let's see who are there. There are 3 types. So I'm not going into this. All of you know, these 3 types are not based again on any kind of distinction. They are based on the support that they require. Some require little support, some require more support, some require substantial support. So that's the way we are going to look at autism now. Number 1, autism is a condition. Second, autism needs support-based intervention. These are the 2 key points that I wanted to make first. So when we do level 1, level 2, level 3, I'll just leave you all with the screen for 30 seconds or maybe 10 seconds. Yes? May I change the slide? So let's look at this. My only request is, these are my children, please don't video them. Today, in this August gathering, I am giving you the responsibility to find out what strength this child has. Instead of looking at this child as a problem, you will see the child is humming actually a song. So if you start humming the song with him, he will be your pal. And from a non-preferred behavior, I was told Dr. Gargi brings all junglies in the school. Dr. Gargi has wild squirrels running all over the place. And after a point of time, they become a joy and pleasure to the whole school. Okay, so we go to the next video. Sorry, the next video is this. Please look at this. There are 3 types of autism visible here. Could you make out, can you tell me? Did you notice 3 children have autism here? This school has been very kind to us, I would say. So, did you notice anything? Was there a difference in their behaviors? I'm pointing out Usually my first question is, where are there children with autism? But I'm not doing that because I have to cover a lot of portion. So, did you notice any three? Yes, yes, ma'am, please.
So some of the children were readily accepting the ball
Okay.
as like a sign of social interaction.
Okay.
Some of them were being guided by the teachers.
Okay.
And some were a bit reluctant when they were receiving the ball, sort of taking a moment to maybe process it.
Yes, yes. After that, I mean, my swar is really swar. So even from my top floor office, I can hear. So this is what happens when you give them tasks which they don't want to do. So three different types of autism I have shown you. Now look at this, read this. There is a tall, lanky, handsome boy who studies in 4th standard. He draws excellent cartoons. He remembers dates. He is completely unresponsive to teachers' instructions. In a jiffy, you won't even know, but the solar system is completed. You don't even know how he has learned it. Sometimes he decides to be very aggressive, he bites, he pushes, he roams around in the class aimlessly and just runs out of the classroom. I think you're familiar with this, right? So we had big issues, episodes were there, and this child was actually thrown out for some time from the school, and he was put alone in a room and he was made to work like this. When he did that, he gradually saw his talents coming out, right? You see a little more when he was at home. On his own, he has written 4 languages. Nobody has taught him. I think these are work of art that he has created with simple clay. This is the Lego, the design that he has made completely. All these are created by him whenever he is in a state of emotional distress. So do you think this child does not need to do academics? Sir was talking about Stephen Hawkins. Do you think somewhere one Stephen Hawkins is hidden here? Right? When we were talking about solar system, one day he tried talking about electron, proton, neutron, 4th standard. We don't even know which YouTube video he had watched. And that is the time we discovered that he watches something that the mobile interests him. So that is the way the ICT will play a very important role in his life. Let's go into the next part. But what happens? What is the reality check? What happens in our school? Right? Everything is safe. And at the end of the day, you be a hathi or a fish, you have to climb the tree. Correct? So this is where our systems fail. This is where again we are coming to the learning. What type of learning? So when ma'am said learning, I was wondering what type of learning. NEP 20 talks about koshas, 5 koshas. This Pancha Kosha, which was their ancient learning system, it talks about overall development of child. So are you talking about that learning or are you talking about only academic learning? Now I understood you're talking about reading. But where are you talking about reading? Reading is everywhere, right? Reading is not only from the text. So then, this should be the ideal system of education if we have to promote NEP 20. This is called the response to intervention model. The lowermost is your regular class, which is the green zone. In this green zone, we are going to practice universal, now it's very popular, everybody knows about UDL, Universal Design of Learning, which means what? Whatever teaching style I have, whatever learning style I have, the teacher has to come prepared with that. So I give my teachers in my teachers workshop, I give my teachers a mantra. वो मंत्र है वक्त जी. Teachers अब आइए prepared with वक्त जी. वक्त means time, right? But here my वक्त means VAKT. Come ready with visuals, come ready with auditory, come ready with kinesthetic, come ready with tactile. If you look at ICT, barring the tactile, all 3 can be beautifully made in your any kind of ICT. Right? And they will be replicable. They will be the same. And we know children with autism have this preference for sameness. So when this song will be played, this is the tune every time this will be played. And that's the way learning will be more comprehensive. So this is what our green zone talks about. Now you have 3 types of children, right? So naturally some children will need additional support. Give them, take them up, go to the yellow zone. This is my tier 2 response to intervention model. The last one, who was refusing, who screamed, who did not hold the ball, it is not for him. I was telling ma'am, I have 2,500 parents whose children have either been thrown out of schools, they couldn't continue schools, or out of shame, sheer shame, they did not take their children to school. All these tier 3 children, my request is, ma'am and sir, open an online school. Have your ICT tool made in such a manner that all these people can be, really given intervention. We have the foundation curriculum ready. And on this computer technology people, I'm talking about inclusive education and foundation curriculum. I'm really sorry. But we have something called BD1, foundation curriculum. That is ready. Activities are ready. Government has done fantastic job. Convert it online. Create a database, include all these children. Give, just like IGNU gives no online certificate, why can't my children with autism in tier 3 get this certificate and pass out of schools? It's possible, it's doable. So, please remember, let's stop that ABA technology. This is the way you raise your chin. Good. Now put it down. Very good. Okay, you want to do it? Take a little bit of it. Yeah, sir, don't look at me like this. That's the way we have been training people with autism. When you say personalized interaction, ma'am, that is what it is. So what am I doing? What exactly I am doing? I am creating a loss of identity. Because this is not what the child wants to do. So his self-esteem is going down. Where is my autonomy? On one hand, you're talking about individual choice. You are doing a complete loss of autonomy. So, look at autism like this. Believe me, I have learned so much from my children. Once when I was a consultant in one of the schools, parents came to meet me. And every discussion was finished, parent was going out, this child was howling away to glory. And parent, as they do, they're trying to pull and push, take the child out. So we just decided, okay, wait for a sec. You know what the child did? I'm a clumsy lady. I don't know if you can be called a lady. Clumsy woman sounds better. So he came to my table, took my pen, put the cap, closed the pen. My pen always remains open. But he's a systematic, organized person. No, he didn't like it. Keen sense of observation. He has seen in that plethora of things that this pen is not closed. He did that and he went. So let's look at their strengths instead of calling them or instead of looking at them from a deficit finding perspective. Let's look at the... Sir, please don't take this photo. Please don't take any bachcha's photo. What we need to do is no deficit finding perspective, but capacity building perspective is what we should look into. Yes, does that mean I'm saying only ICT tools will be given? No. Please involve. That's why I showed this. This is my same swar. I don't know if you can locate. He's nicely sitting down with other children. So involve them with children who are non-autistic. Please do that. Please go ahead. Have a lot of group activities. Ma'am, you did reading. So we do a lot of language, punctuation, group activity, etc. And it really helps. My children really change. But not all of them. Not all the time. We must remember these two things. Not all of them and not all the time. So we must use the path that is shown by NCF, which says equity. Provide equity. Remember the triangle. Take them to tier 3 and have an online session with them. They respond beautifully. So what happens is, don't think children don't understand. He's standing there, two parents are talking and saying, because of this child, my child is learning all these behaviors. He's understanding. He cannot express, but he's understood. So he has frustration, he has stress, he has extreme conditions. I don't know if you've heard the word meltdowns, all this begin. But do you have the right to make people fit into your system? No, we don't have the right. Once upon a time, it was told women have half brains. So this half brain woman is sitting here and taking a project. Correct? So laws should change. Our outlook should change. We should look at these people as people who need equity. So provide ICT. That's the only way. Equity is what you need. Equity is not your economics equity. Do you understand my equity? Your equity and my equity are different. I have had people immediately jumping up and showing me some economic figure that I don't understand. Okay. So as I was telling you, make the green zone interactive. Use ICT not only for the top, use for the green also. Let everyone join in and do it together. So let there be ERA. What is ERA? ERA is a mantra. Like I told you, mantra Vakta G. I forgot to say G is gustatory, taste. ERA is how you practice UDL, Universal Design of Learning. Give plenty of engagement. Some children will do online engagement. Give plenty of representation only through your ICT. Action and expression. Please don't say Hathi and the fish will climb the tree. Have the assessment also done through your technology. You see how brilliantly my children are going to do. So remember one thing. Yes, bring in other children, but that repetitive tone, the voice of that mechanical person behind wherever, I don't know anything about technology, it helps them to connect. I have seen they respond better. They're listening to that over and over again, and then they actually role model that behavior. So that is the way, ma'am. Those apps, bring in social skill apps and make it mandatory to be used in the classroom. I'll tell you the problem I face. I train my BEd special education student teachers to use those apps. Right? They train themselves because they know apps more than I do. Now, when I go to the classroom and ask them to implement, the teacher comes, snatches the thing and says, sorry, you're not allowed to use technology in the classroom. Group discussion is going on. Why? Then how is it equity? So keep these things in mind. One-to-one tutor, appropriate barrier-free infrastructure and technological interventions are a must. See, you have one-to-one, you have interventions, but you saw, no, it's not possible. If the special educators' numbers were sufficient, so many children would not have been out of the school. So have an educator like this. Have an educator where the child responds to the screen. And I have got many studies, ma'am, you must also have got. Why do we wait and say that when I did my PhD on response to intervention, there was not a single study on response to intervention. So what? So why don't we be the path breakers and start ICT in the classrooms, have pilot studies, divide the country into 4 zones, North Zone, East Zone, South Zone, West Zone. Take 1 month sample schools which are ready. I have worked with teachers and principals. It's very important to see schools which are ready, and then rope in special schools as well as inclusive schools. Otherwise, special schools are feeling left out. Let that not happen. Okay? So you see how beautifully this child is responding, and that is the way the holistic development will take place. So finally, this is the kind of model of equity we have to build up in every school. There has to be a green zone, there has to be a yellow zone, and there has to be a red zone. And I need there's not a single therapist here, no? Therapist, psychologist. Wow. Okay, in one of the schools where we practice, we have a transdisciplinary approach. I think sir and ma'am, you're very familiar with that. So we have a team of people who assess the child, form the goal of the child, and we did a CRE also on that. We don't limit that goal to only sir's clinic or ma'am's clinic. We pass it on to the teachers, we pass it on at home. So what is happening? Multiple exposure, a number of practices, and that is where success comes in. We tried with the government. We said, sir, there are so many children, so you form a cluster. This government can do. You are giving, these people are all government servants, right? They are earning a lot of money. So what can you do? You can employ these people as cluster resource person. Why do they have to stick to one school? They can be responsible for 5 schools. Let them go, visit, get the program, and then come back to their parents' school. So this is a model that would really be successful if worked into. Now, this I have got, the rest of the things that I have got is what we did by hand. Now I want help of these people because these things have worked. Look at this kind of a TLM. It works. Can you give me? Look at this. It works. Can you give me? So like this, I'll show you a series of things which have worked. See, none of these are ICT, but these we have worked over the years. None of them are taken from the internet. All these we have done, and we have found out that they have strengths and abilities. We have put visual schedules, day strips in the classrooms. It's worked. We have organized the work like this, and we have taught academics. Can you give me ICT? This is my question. We have worked in creating things like this. Give this to me in ICT. Because we know these are the things, structure, organization, placement of TLM, children just shine. So all these are few examples you can see children are doing, working, sitting. This child runs from first floor to fourth floor, up and down. But look at the way how he's sitting when the workstation has been made. First I'll do this, next I'll do this. So all this I will do, this is finished. So that's it. I won't take a lot of time. I'll come to the question answer this thing. So all these but have your ICT, some kind of calming down mechanism. The experienced therapists who are sitting there, pathologists, speech language pathologists who are sitting there, psychologists, no, who are sitting there know when they have their meltdown how difficult it is. But a simple twinkle, twinkle little star calms them down at the time. Maybe a little tinkling sound calms them. So can you research and find out some sensory calming down ICTs? Would you be able to do that? Then give them to me. I need. Okay. Can you create a projection where it can be a calming down corner and the child can go and through that audio visual will get calmed down? We have seen it happening, but we don't have that much of money. India is a poor country, so we can't have it created unless and until the government supports us. People like you can create it for us. I don't know, your sir said about so many projects. If that can be one of your projects, then I need that. Please give it to me. So all these are corners that we have created. With every rain of Goa, the TLMs just disappear. We have to make them again. So let's make our children like this. This is my child who wouldn't speak a word, who would always put his legs up and who would roll on the ground. Do you see? So that means it is possible. That means we can do it. All these are little TLMs. If you want, I can share it with you. And these are researches that have shown that it really works. Please have this realization first that okay, I'm autistic. I'm okay with that. I'm absolutely fine with that. Please don't try. And it's okay not to be okay. Okay? Please stop those barriers and follow these guidelines. These are my guidelines for inclusion. Number one is integrate. If you are doing ICT, please integrate all teaching learning resources. Let there be a kind of matching, because the country in silos is coming out with many things. So let there be learning resources, tech, low tech, no tech, all that. Nurture, use capacity building perspective, collaborate with all stakeholders, whoever can come in. Now link. It's very important. What ma'am has done is perfect. Very important to link researches and convert them into daily life so that it reaches to everyone and understand. See ma'am, I feel any ICT tool should have a monitoring system. My teachers sometimes don't like me at all. कि मैम आप गोल देते हो, प्लान करते हो, उसके बाद हर महीना आके पूछते हो कि कितना हुआ है. मुझे मैथमेटिकली दिखाओ, 3, 2, 1 करके दिखाओ, क्वांटिटेटिव डेटा दिखाओ, क्वालिटेटिव डेटा दिखाओ. बिना this data, what can we do? If you had that data, man, you would not have gone to special schools. You would have also gone to inclusive schools. So it's very important to systematically, I feel, to collect, store, analyze data coming from all parts of the country. Please, learner first and learner fast. Don't wait. One IPHD assessment takes me 6 months, 1 year. Child's 1 year, precious 1 year is already gone. So employ more people so that the assessments can take place. And please organize. There are resources all around now. India is charged up. Please organize. And don't say our children have suffer from problem. Our children navigate through challenges and change them into possibilities. And remember one thing, we have no right. My children with autism have grown up now. They're big boys and girls. And it is nothing about us without us. Whatever committees you do, incorporate one person with autism there. It will make a difference in your thought. When you do such kind of studies, incorporate, find out. 25 years I am into this field, there are senior people whose children are even senior. My ones are 20, 25, 30 at the most. So find out, locate, make a bank, data bank of adults with autism, incorporate them. Believe everyone fits in here. Believe that you care about me, but you also respect me. You guide me, but you also take from me. Unless and until you do that, we can't have a world where we can have Shraddha for everyone. So be strong. Thank you everyone. Namaskar.